Hello everybody and welcome to 123 Contact Forms webinar, Most Used Web Forms and How to Build Them with a Single App.
I am Laura. I'm the brand manager of 123 Contact Form. My background counts studies in journalism and a couple of years of PR experience. And I've also done some sales. So I kind of got the best from every part of it. And currently I'm glad to be in charge of coordinating the actions of spreading the word about 123 Contact Form. Everything from content to SEO, from social media to branding and everything in between. A bit of personal life, I'm passionate about writing, taking photos and watching documentary films whenever time allows me. In this webinar, we will talk about web forms and which is their role in our day-to-day online activity. Then we'll take a look about trends that shape web form design and usability, among which we have the flat user interface, the web versus mobile, and some thing about typography. Next, we'll see which are the top 4 web forms of all times, ranked by their popularity. The first and foremost of all is the contact form, of course, followed by the payment form in its 2 sides for taking orders or taking donations. Then we have the event registration form and a lot of online service for every business purpose. Finally, we'll have a short tutorial on the 123 Contact Form website about how to set up a simple web form, and we'll publish it on a WordPress blog. Okay, so first of all, the question is, why do we need web forms and what are those web forms? Well, of course, every one of us has to fill in a lot of forms daily, and we all know that it's not the most pleasant task ever. But if we look to the other side of the screen, the form owners obviously need those means in order to interact with the visitors of their websites. So why are forms useful? In short, they are the easiest method to pass information along from visitors to a website owner. They are also fast and easy to set up, and you can also use them if you don't own a website. For example, you can send them through email or turn them into QR codes and even share them through social media. So we can basically employ forms for any type of tasks, from even grocery lists, say, to marketing research through surveys. But their most often uses are as communication interfaces between site owners and visitors. Also, they are tools to keep our audience engaged. If we think of a contest or a quiz or a fun poll on Facebook. And last but not least, they are means to stay organized and to keep all of our tasks in one place. Through a form, we can receive a couple of distinct types of input. First of all, it's simple data. Then we have file uploads, and finally, we can also receive payments. And the reason I chose this image is that we can look at web forms as being gateways to conversion. So gateways that receive site visitors and turn them into prospects for your business who can even become clients at some point. It's a HubSpot musing that web forms are your gateway to conversion through which all of your leads must pass. Okay. Now, the anatomy of a web form involves that we have a type of interaction where a person fills in a combination of fields, then clicks an action button, namely the submit button, and sends the data along to the form owner. The data gets stored in a database, and if we talk about email forms, there is an additional step 2, where the form owner gets an email with the message that was submitted by the visitor. So the steps are as follows. We have the incentive, so the reason for me, the site visitor, to fill in that form, for example, to register to a service or to download a freebie or maybe to purchase a product. Then the task itself is to fill in the fields and provide the needed information. I will have the action for task completion, so I will hit the submit button, and then success, I have a smiley face, everything went on right, and I will receive the aim that I went to the form on the first place. Next, the form entry gets imported into a database, and everything is organized in one place. Now, speaking about trends that shape web forms, first of all is the flat user interface. If you browse the web, even casually, you probably have noticed that even more and more of the website nowadays feature a flat user interface, which is a design tendency that originated in Windows 8 user interface and favors solid colors, less shadows or no shadows at all, and typography that is very obvious. All results in a layout that looks very clean and very modern. Well, those design tendencies can also affect web forms. The forms, in order to be easily visible and optimum to navigate, if we have a flat user interface, it's recommended that you make them look inviting, so that the users can grasp their purpose from one look. It's a known fact that the flat user interface makes it difficult to determine which area of the screen is clickable and whether I need to do an action right there or not. So it's very important that when you design a flat form, you make it inviting and you show users that those are the portions to fill in. How can you do that? Well, first of all, by creating a clear distinction between the form elements. We have buttons and we have fields. The fields are fillable, the buttons are clickable. So the buttons should look raised, and you can give them an accent through vivid colors or rounded corners. And by contrast, your fields should look hollow, and the visitor should see that he can write in there. The halo effect is obtained by using paler colors, borders, or even subtle shadows. The third best practice here would be to use buttons for primary form actions, for example, for submitting the form. And if you have secondary form actions as so reset or calculating the price, you'd better use links. Okay. The next trend is the distinction between mobile and web forms. As you all know, nowadays it's become almost mandatory that every website had a mobile version too, because people navigate a lot from mobile devices. But as we know too, mobile devices unfortunately still hold a lot of constraints to user navigation, because obviously we have smaller screens, typing is slower, clumsy fingers, and even we can experience connection failures at times. Thus, it's very important to optimize your form for better navigation and always think about user interaction. Some recommendations from us here would be to keep the form short and simple. So eliminate the unnecessary fields and be as effective as you can. Let them people choose, not type. And if you really have longer forms or maybe surveys, it's very good to keep them divided into small steps, so into multiple pages. Secondly, it's recommended that you align field labels to the top instead of left or right, so they are more visible. And you can also use some user enhancements. For example, 123 Contact Forms website provides IP geolocation, so that your address fields will automatically fill in depending on the user IP, so on their location. Next one, we have the typography. Oh, I'm sorry for that. Okay. The typography plays a major role in web forms because fonts are very distinctive when it comes to branding, and we all know that web forms should align to the image of any brand in order to be consistent. we think about the flat user interface trend that we mentioned before, well, their typography has even a greater accent. If you want to learn more about web fonts and how to use those fonts, there are some great resources that you can see. I've typed them here. There are Typekit, well, and the Font Squirrel Generator, and maybe FontForge, Kernest, and finally the Google Fonts directory, where you can find a lot of ready-made fonts for web use. In which concerns using fonts and web forms together, the best practices include identifying a combination of up to 3 fonts that are definitory for your brand. Of course, you should use them within your form headings, labels, instructions, buttons, and everywhere you have text. You should also make sure that the fonts you choose are consistent with the fonts on your web page. This is a detail that can easily get slipped, and it produces a quite ugly effect if ignored. So it's very good that you harmonize the web page and your form. At this chapter, so about trends in web design that influence fonts, I have put some resources at the end of this slideshow that you will find, some good reads about web forms that can inspire you when trying to know more and implement more in your day-to-day online activity. Now, I'd like to give you a few notions about 123 contact form. Some of you know our service, some of you do not. 123 contact form comes from creating web forms and service as easy as 123. Why 123? Because there are just 3 simple steps that you can build your form, customize it, and publish it to start collecting data. Up to the moment, we have over 500,000 users coming from 184 countries, and our kangaroo has delivered about 22.5 million form submissions. You can also visit our blog for interesting facts about web forms and for the daily dose of web form hints for your inspiration. And also there we publish a lot of news about launches that we make on a monthly basis at 123 contact form, let's say. So you'll keep up to date with everything. Now let's see which are the top web forms. The all-time numero uno is the contact form. The contact form may seem the simplest form of all, but it is very important and it can wear many hats. For instance, the primary function of a contact form is to receive website feedback and inquiries. But if you want to go further, you can, for instance, use it in education and turn it into a teacher feedback form. Or maybe if you represent a business that sells online, you can also receive quote requests through the form, and who knows, maybe even collecting ratings over the topic that interests you. Here are some features of 123 contact form that can come in handy when building a contact form. So first of all, you have the visual drag and drop editor, which you will see later in this presentation in a couple of minutes about. And that editor will allow you to choose lots of fields to insert in your form, from text fields to the name or email fields, collecting images, and everything in between. Also, the file upload field that you can insert within the form can come in useful when, for instance, you'd like to receive proposals or CVs for job recruiting and things like that. You can also style and brand your contact form so that it represents the image of your website. And when receiving the notifications about people who fill the form in, you can involve multiple recipients so that visitor inquiries will be directed to the appropriate person that handles the job for the nature of people's selection. Also, 123 contact form offers a couple of integrations that can help you manage data, among which the Google Drive integration I can mention, and we also have a Smartsheet integration that can help you view form entries easier. The second form in the row is the payment form, most wanted for most businesses and non-profits. Whenever you need to accept payments, whether it's for selling some merchandise or donations for your non-profit organization, a web form can be the most handy mean. Why is that? Because of course there are other online tools that help you receive payments, for example shopping carts, but the form is probably the most accessible one because it can be published on almost any platform and helps you collect funds directly in your bank account without too much of a hassle. So you won't have to set up complicated systems or go through I don't know what authentication processes. You just publish the form and see the funds flow in your bank account. 123 contact form has a couple of dedicated features for payment forms, among which the first one is the integration with a lot of payment processors, among them PayPal, Stripe, and a lot of popular gateways nowadays. We can also receive recurring payments within forms. For example, if you'd like to apply regular charges for subscriptions, or if a donor for your organization has volunteered to send money at constant periods of times, you can set that in your form and he'll be charged automatically without having to fill in the form again and again. You would never have to worry about the security of your data and payments because once the contact form encrypts data using SSL and uses another wide variety of protection measures, anti-spam and anti-hacking. Next, you have the digital signature field that allows you to authenticate the payment, and you'll have the option to interact with donors further on through our integrations with MailChimp, ExactTarget, and others. Number 3 is the event registration form, which is very useful when you try to organize any type of event, from internal corporate events to public ones, such as conferences, workshops, and everything. Event registration forms are a handy way to let people book seats to your events and even to receive payments from them, because even if we have different types of forms. There are the payment forms and the event registration forms. They are not at all restrictive. You can enable the payment option on event registration forms too, and you can register people on payment forms. So you will not get constrained in notions and able to do everything you want. When registering people, you will be able to view the entries dynamically and set the presentations or marketing materials as autoresponders. 123 contact form, as we previously said, can help you collect event fees through the most popular payment gateways. You can adapt the form design so that it reflects the image of your brand. You also have the option of including social sharing buttons within the form to let users post the form and share it further on to their friends on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and everything. You will also be able to translate the form into multiple languages if you have guests from abroad. And if you're on the run, you can use the SMS notification feature so that you won't have to keep your eye on the inbox to see who registered, but you'll be prompted on your mobile phone with every new submission. Also, our event registration forms integrate with Google Calendar, so that attendees can register for events directly in your calendar and also can create new appointments if your event is permitting it. Okay, the last but not least type of form are the online surveys. The online surveys can come in so many shapes and sizes that I cannot mention right now. They are the primary means to gather insights for your business decisions. When you need to gather marketing data or customer data or maybe human resources data about your employees, you can draw a handy form, then export everything to your favorite business apps or share the reports about the form submissions to get a better overview over the tendencies. 123 contact form also has dedicated features for building service. Even if we are called contact form, it's really more to it than simple contact forms. Okay, so for service you can use field branching upon conditional logic. You can use upon up to 10 conditions that are linked together using and or operators. Longer surveys can be divided into multiple pages. After they get filled in, you can export data to CSV or PDF, or you can integrate the survey with several data management apps. Talking about custom graphical reports, you will see in your 123 contact form account that they can take many shapes. For example, pie charts or bar charts or data tables, as your needs ask for. You can always set autoresponders. And what does autoresponders upon rules mean? They mean that if people have made a certain selection within the form, they can be shown a certain autoresponder by email. That can differ from the autoresponder that other people get while selecting something else. So they can be nurtured as leads after submitting the survey and integrated into your campaigns. Your 123 contact form online service are compatible with multiple channels. You can disseminate them on your web page, socially, and everywhere else. Okay, now we arrived to the tutorial part of this presentation. As I promised, we will see how to create a web form for WordPress using 123 contact form. And first of all, I will name the steps that we need to make in order to be creating that. You will need to go to 123contactform.com. In order to use it, you will need an account. So you'll have to go to the green button at the right side of the page that says sign up. And here I have a note for you. 123 contact form is freemium, so that means that it offers a free basic plan with up to 5 forms and 10 fields for each form. And for larger storage space and more complex needs, it also has premium plans that go from $14 a month to more depending on the features. I have the pleasure to announce you that the participants to this webinar who are not yet our users will receive a free demo to test 123 contact form. And for that, just watch your inbox, because we will send you a message with instructions about how to sign up for 123 contact form tomorrow by noon. Okay, so I will close this presentation for now and access 123 contact form. Okay, I will log into my account. Okay. Next, to create our brand new form, we'll go to the Create New Form section. Here you can see that we have some form templates for the most popular web forms that we exemplified within the webinar. So we'll have where to start from when building a contact and lead form, a survey, an event registration form, quizzes, polls that are handy for education. And we also have a gallery of more than 50 form templates that can be imported into any user's account and further edited. Okay. For now, I will create a simple contact form, and I will name it WordPress contact form. Okay. Now we're in the web form editor of 123 contact form. You can see that the template has been imported. It comprises a heading and 3 fields together with the submit button that is called send email. Now you can always edit everything about those fields. For example, if you'd like to change the label so that instead the name it says something more friendlier, such as your name here. You can change whether those fields are required or not. You can see the red asterisk. If you left it ticked, then the field is required, or if you untick it, the person can submit the form even without filling in that particular field. We recommend not using a lot of required fields unless it's necessary, or if you use them, don't try not to combine them required unrequired, because it's a bit confusing for users to make the distinction between what they should fill in and what it's not mandatory for them to fill in. After all, if you have those fields in the form, the goal is to get filled in, isn't it? Okay. Now, for the next fields, I can show you the options that you have for validating them. You can choose from a couple of formats of validation. For example, the email field by default has the email validation, of course, so it will request an input such as email@domain.com. You can shape it otherwise. For example, if you use a free-form field such as a text field, you can validate it for numbers or for letters or for any other combination. Okay, and next you can also customize the text for the submit button. You can say, for instance, send your message. It's very important that you give some attention to the submit button too, because it's the primary call to action in your form and can stimulate conversions. Okay. Next, as I said in the flat user interface and the mobile versus web section of the webinar, it's recommended for better mobile accessibility that you use top label alignment. For that, we'll go to form layout, we'll click on that and choose the label placement top aligned. Okay. I'll make a parenthesis. Our colleagues from live support are very active and seem to participate to our webinar too. So if you are a 123 contact form user and have any questions about creating your form or getting to collect data, you can click on the live support icon on the bottom right, and one of my colleagues will answer you in just a couple of moments. Okay. Now let's say we finished with the form layout and move on to the next step, form settings. All in all, you can see that there are 3 steps: edit form, form settings, and publish form. This is why we are called 123 contact form, because we make everything easy in just 3 steps. Okay. Now for form settings, we first have the tab of email notifications. You can choose to receive notifications to one email or several ones. For now, I will leave that like it is. Here you can enable the SMS notifications. I won't do that right now. And for confirmation settings, you have the option of showing the text on the screen, redirecting to a web page, or do both. You can also set the copy of the completed form to the sender, or enable a confirmation message, an autoresponder such as the one we've talked about. Okay. Next, we arrive to form themes, where you can style and brand your web form. For that, you need to first pick a theme from the slider above. Okay, we'll say Azure. In order to use the theme, we need to duplicate it. Okay, meanwhile, I can see that Marty has asked us a question. Thank you very much, Marty. We will take the question later on after the tutorial ends. Okay. And back to our form theme, we should name it WordPress theme or something else like you need. Okay. you can see that the first control in the form theme section is to change the logo. For now, it displays the 123 contact form logo, but you can also insert an URL with your own and use it here in the heading section of the form. You can control other things about the form appearance, such as the background and form frame. We can use rounded corners frame, okay, so that it looks slicker. And you see that the button is already flat. If you'd like to use a button with gradients maybe or shadows, you can go to the submit button section and choose the option of URL image button, where you can import one of your buttons of use if you have them on your website. Okay, next there are a lot of options that I won't get into detail with. We will save and apply the theme. Okay, it seems like we selected something that is not filled in. Okay, we'll leave the button colored like this and save and apply it now. Okay, good. We can close the chat window for now. Okay, and preview the form. The form would look like this. Of course, you can do a lot of other tweaks, such as even use custom CSS if you'd like, and import the code of your own. Next, if you are thinking about how to handle submissions and how to, for instance, integrate them with Google Drive, you can go to our third-party apps section and enable the Google Drive integration by adding it. Okay, and now it will prompt me to enter my username and password, so the one that you use for Gmail and other Google products. Okay, I will tick enable in the box and save everything in the application. Okay, and from now on, when somebody fills in the form, at the first submission, a new spreadsheet is generated in your Google Drive account named as the form. It will be WordPress contact form for this example, and the form will create automatically columns for each of the fields where the data in the form submissions gets imported. And it's very nice that you can also watch it in lifetime. So if you are on the spreadsheet, you will see the submissions being added under your eyes. Okay. We also have other applications to integrate with, such as Zendesk, if you'd like to take support tickets and import them into Zendesk automatically. You can use email marketing integrations such as Aweber, Constant Contact, ExactTarget, and others. You can store your submissions to Dropbox. 123 Contact Form also offers storage space, but if you'd like to extend it, you can use the advantage of your Dropbox account, which has 2 GB of free storage. Okay, to move on quickly, because we don't have too much time left, we have the payment section where you can enable the integration with the most popular payment processors. Next to form security, it's by default enabled the smart captcha, which only shows when there's a sign of abuse over the form. You can choose not to display any captcha because it can get disturbing at times. Okay, thank you to Sean. And you have other anti-spam and anti-hacking options here. Okay, we shall save this. Further on, we have other sections for establishing field rules upon conditional logic, for translating the forms into multiple languages, and other things you can tweak. Okay, we'll move on. So the final section, publish form, will allow you to take just a small portion of code, which is automatically generated for you, and in the WordPress tab, copy and paste it into your WordPress website. Now, I have a WordPress website installed locally here. It's very basic, very simple. I haven't customized everything about it. To use the WordPress integration, you will first need to download and install our plugin, so that you will have it in the plugin section of your dashboard. The plugin can be found in the WordPress plugin directory, and it's called 123 Contact Form for WordPress. Okay. Once you have it installed here, you can go and create a new post or a new page where you want your form to appear. For now, I will create a page that I will name Contact Us. Okay, and to publish the form, I'll just take the code here with Control and copy and paste it in the editing area of the page. You can either paste it in the visual mode or in the code mode. Okay. Now I will preview my page, and here it is. Our contact and lead form is shown right here on the Contact Us page in the WordPress blog. Okay. Now, of course, you can tweak a lot of other things, as I said, about the form. For example, you can show the form frame so that it appears in the nice blue color that you saw in the form preview. Right now, the form frame is deactivated, so you only see the white background. And, of course, you can make other edits. It's very important that any edit you will make in 123 Contact Form Editor, it will be shown in real time on WordPress. So you won't have to republish the form or take it down, because the 123 Contact Form website makes the update live. It's similar to what happens to other platforms. You can see that you have other publishing options. For instance, you can take the form link that is hosted on 123contactform.com and share it on email, Messenger, and others. You can embed the form on your page using JavaScript or other code options. There's the option of showing your form in a lightbox, or pasting it on your Facebook page, on Blogger, on Joomla, on Exact Target, and Google Sites, and others. Okay, now the tutorial has ended, and so is our presentation. Okay. Thank you for joining our webinar. Here you have the resources I mentioned. It's the Web Form Design book, excellent book by Luke Wroblewski, and the Smashing Magazine collection, Web Form Design, is also a good catch. We've also discovered the great website of Formulate that provides a lot of advice on designing your web form, and they also have consultants. And of course, you can always contact us and ask for our opinion, because we've seen a lot of forms here in our day-to-day job, and we can try to give you advice on how to shape and customize your form. Thanks a lot for all the questions that have been addressed. For the sake of participants' time, I will ask for your permission to respond to the questions by email. Don't worry, every one of them will get answered, and we will get in touch with the participants that are not 123 Contact Form users, as I mentioned, to have a chance to try our platform, and we will welcome your feedback. Last of all, I have prepared a feedback form, of course created with 123 Contact Form, where I will be very glad to receive your thoughts and your suggestions for other topics to treat in the future webinars. You can find the link at the bottom of this slide, and tomorrow, when we will email you the webinar recording, you will also have it in that format. Thanks a lot to every one of you for everything, and make sure to check back to our next webinar, which will come in March, maybe the second half of the month. Thank you. Have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.